Today we're checking out this 6-piece tie rod set for the 2013 to 18 Ram 1500s. If your steering feels a little bit loose, you've got play in the wheel, or the truck just doesn't feel as tight and confident as it used to, worn steering components are usually the reason. And this kit is made to bring back that solid and controlled feel, so it's definitely worth looking into. The whole goal of the tie rod refresh is getting your steering response back where it should be. This set is built to help ease steering control, reduce that fighting the wheel feeling, and make the truck feel more predictable when you're turning, especially at highway speeds or when you hit a bump and the front end wants to wander. It also helps if you've noticed your turning feels sloppy or delayed, because worn tie rod ends can make the truck feel like it's always one step behind what you're trying to tell it to do. This is also a smart move if you've been through tires quicker than you should, because steering slop can lead to uneven wear and alignment issues that never really go away until you replace those worn out parts with these. Since this is a full 6-piece set, it's a great option for someone who wants to handle the steering refresh the right way instead of replacing one worn out part now and chasing the next wink later down the road. When it comes to the construction on this, you are getting full steel components designed to work together and give you back that OE-like feel. These are also finished with a 2-phase black powder coat, which helps fight corrosion and keeps the parts protected from the elements for the long haul. Now, as far as the pricing goes, this kit's coming in right around that $200 price range. That's a pretty solid value for a full tie rod set, especially when you compare it to piecing together parts one at a time or rolling the dice on cheap components that don't hold up and they can leave you right back where you started. When it comes to the install on this one, it's going to get rated a 3 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter since there's so much to replace here, and you can have this job done in 2 hours or less of your time if everything goes smooth. Now let's head on out to the shop and we're going to give you a detailed walkthrough of exactly how this install process goes.
For this install, you'll need an impact, a 15/16 socket, a 21 and 18 and a 16 millimeter socket, a 15 and a 17 millimeter wrench, a 15/16 wrench, an adjustable wrench, pliers, cutters, a hammer, breaker bar, and an inner tie rod tool. Today we're going to be installing inner and outer tie rods on our Ram 1500. Let's get into it. First, we're going to take a 16 millimeter socket and an impact. We're going to loosen this nut right here. And then make sure you do the same thing on the other side. Then you want to remove the washer and the bushing, just like this. And do the same thing on the other side. Once you've done that, we can lift up the sway bar like this and pull out the end link, just like that. Next, we're gonna take a 15 millimeter wrench, 18 millimeter socket, and an impact. We're gonna loosen this lower nut right here, and we're gonna take the sway bar end link out. Then pull out the end link. Then we're gonna take a 21 millimeter socket and an impact, and loosen this nut right here. I want to loosen it just like that. And if it's not coming out on the first try, we're going to whack it with a hammer. Then we're going to loosen this nut right here to pull off the outer tie rod. Now, one thing I do want to mention, you are going to need alignment. So first, we want to check how many threads are in this area right here. In my case, there's 4. Your case might be different. Reason being is we want to make sure that we get this alignment as close as possible. Now, you are still going to have to get in alignment, but just to make the car drive somewhat straight when you're on your way to the alignment shop, that's what you need to do. So 4 threads. Now that we know what our thread count is, we're going to take a adjustable wrench and a 15/16 wrench. You can use 2 15/16 if you want, and we are going to loosen this. Now we're going to take some pliers. You want to pinch right here. Pull just like that. After that, we're gonna take a 17mm wrench and a 15/16 wrench. We're going to loosen this bolt part of the way, and then to take this thing all the way out, I'm gonna be using a 15/16 socket with an impact. All right, so I've gotten it close enough to where I can use a socket. So this is where I'm going to take my 15/16 socket and an impact and take it the rest of the way out. So next we're going to take the boot off, but in order to do that, there's going to be a little metal clip, ring, whatever you want to call it. It's a one-time use. So the only way to get this off is I'm going to cut it with these cutters like this and pull it out. Now the reason why I'm showing you on the new one is because when I go in there, it's not going to be very easy for you guys to see, but once I get it off the car, I'll show you guys again, just so you know where it is, what it looks like, but it's not hard to take off at all. So that's what I'm going to be doing next, and we'll do our best to show you how I take it off. So as you saw, I cut this clip and pulled the boot out. So when you're looking at it, it's gonna be kind of sitting like that in there. And you're just going to lift your arm up over this part of the frame, go down in here like that, twist, and it'll come out just like that. And you can pull this boot out. Then we're gonna remove the inner tie rod, and to do that, we're gonna use our master inner tie rod set. If you guys don't have one at home, you can go to your local auto parts store pretty much and you can rent one. So depending on what kit you have, you're gonna look for the 42mm crow's foot. We're going to place this on our tie rod end. Just wanna slide this over. And to remove this, I'm gonna be using an impact. I think I'm going to switch to a breaker bar. If you're having the same issue I'm having, it's not putting enough force on the inner tie rods. Now we can finally put the new one on after we got this one off. Now it's time to put in the inner tie rod. So we're just gonna screw this in by hand first. Then we're gonna take our inner tie rod tool and tighten it down. And to tighten this down, we're gonna be using the breaker bar along with the tool I already mentioned. Now we're gonna put on our boot. So to do this, we just slip it on. Flip it over. Essentially the reverse of taking it off is the way we put it on. And to secure these, well, to secure this boot, we're gonna be using zip ties. We're gonna cut these with our cutters. So we're gonna cut the ends so it looks nice. Same thing with the inner one. Now we're gonna put on our nut and our outer tie rod. So remember, you're gonna stop twisting this when you get to the amount of threads you counted earlier. In this case, mine was 4. So yours would be whatever you found. To tighten this down, we're going to be using a 17mm wrench and a 15/16 wrench. Next, we're going to tighten the outer tie rod end nut. So to do that, we're going to be using a 21mm socket and an impact. And last but not least, we're going to put together our sway link. And to tighten this down, we're going to be using a 16mm socket and an impact. Now that you've installed the inner and outer tie rod end on this side, do the same thing on the other side. Now that we have that all buttoned up, it's time to install our cotter pin. So we'll just put it in this hole like this. We're going to take some pliers and bend it just like this. Now that you've completed the install on this side, do the same procedure on the other side. Alrighty, that about wraps up this review and install of the 6-piece tie rod set for a 2013 to 2018 Ram 1500. Thank you for watching, and remember, for everything Ram 1500, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.